from returning my rental car that I called Suzie the Sonata to getting started on our journey from Bakersfield to Laughlin, Nevada, was something I frequently called a comedy of errors. With me not having a pure vision for what I was going to record, to Emma never practicing filming the road trip aspect of it, to me having lost and tried a couple new ways of filming the road like I've done in the past that failed. But we still had a good time, and I still think you're going to get some value out of this first actual day. This morning has been a comedy of errors and very, very enjoyable nonetheless. Suzie the Sonata is tucked in the return rental car section, and the end of the last day, or the beginning of the first day, whichever way you look at it. I don't think I've ever been so happy as I am right now to be back in my car. Meanwhile, at Arco, why, there's a snack club, and what the heck? Dill, pickle, sunflower seeds? Are you kidding me? Would you buy those? Who in their right mind would put Jell-O shots right by the checkout counter? I found this rather unbelievable. And I was prepared to leave the springtime nature of Bakersfield. Flowering trees. This is Highway 58 heading up towards Tehachapi. Emma was at the camera, and she did a pretty good job here. It's actually a really beautiful ride, and notable is this is where the Jode family and Grapes of Wrath would have looked west at the San Joaquin Valley and noticed the fertile farmland. Lots and lots of people came this way after they had traveled far on Route 66 looking for jobs. During the Dust Bowl era, Bakersfield got a lot of new refugees from the central of the country. Arkansas, Oklahoma, those kinds of places, which is why people in Bakersfield in some sections still have Southern twangs to their voices. It's interesting. It took me a long time to figure that out when I first moved to Bakersfield. Look at those green hills. Look how few trees. Quite different than the Garden State, isn't it? Although it also has a lot of agriculture. There are some interesting places between Bakersfield and Barstow, and right now we are about to go past one of them, or at least the exit to get to one of them, and that is in Keene, California, where you will find the Cesar Chavez National Monument. As Emma and I were driving, we were talking about how there were really so many fabulous places to see, and this is Cesar Chavez's gravesite. He and his wife are both buried here. We also, in the past, going back to 2018, Emma made a wish in the wishing well there. We always like to wish at wishing wells, one of our unique family traditions. And I had a rare, really nice hair day, and I wrote about optimism. While on the East Coast, my children and I enjoy visiting diners, and this is the Wild West version of one circa my life in 2012, 2010, something like that. Look at that handsome young guy checking out the jukebox. Yes, they still had them there at the Keene Diner at that point. I don't know if this is still true, though. You will also see a lot of wind turbines up in these Tehachapi Mountains and the Tehachapi Pass. I find them fascinating. When you get up close to them, it is incredible to see, but we're not doing that on this road trip. We don't have much time. Instead, we are about to show you a very exhilarating fact right through here. We're going to pass by the exit to get to the Pacific Crest Trail. I knew you would be excited about that. Before we move on, I want to let you know that Emma was talking about the Gilmore Girls discussion of the Pacific Crest Trail. Apparently the mom on that show had made the wild proclamation that she was going to hike it, and there was a big debate whether she was going to hike according to the book or according to the movie. I don't know. I was never and have never really watched much of the Gilmore Girls. But for Emma, this was significant, mostly because when we saw Wild, Emma threatened me that if I ever die early, that she would have a rampage, much like the lead character in. Earlier, I mentioned a comedy of errors, and a couple things I want to fit in here briefly. One is that soon I'll make a bold proclamation about the length of Route 66 and the length of the Appalachian Trail. There's actually only 41 miles in difference between the current length of both of these American icons. So pay attention for my error, because it is an error what I state. And if you see the miles that I show you, and then look at the miles of the Appalachian Trail, I looked it up, 41 miles different, so still super close. Can you imagine that? When you look at the map of the US, you think Chicago to LA just seems like so long. Well, the Appalachian Trail is long too. Secondly, I wanted to show you through a few shots of the Tehachapi Loop historically, because it was a civil engineering marvel and still is. Tehachapi is always a fun day trip for my family. We would go to pick apples and collect pumpkins and go on field trips. And here's Mom and Emma when Emma was much younger. If you ever want to hear any crazy family stories or cute family stories, just let me know and I'll tell more. But the Tehachapi Loop is much more famous than any of my family stories. It was built between 1874 and 1876 and was built so that trains could get through the high elevations of the Tehachapi Mountains. It had to get up there with a manageable gradient and has worked so well that it has been pretty much unchanged for nearly 150 years. There are still places where people can park and just watch the trains go by as they do, because this remains an important artery for the Southern Pacific Railroad. Such a marvel. My dad really, of course, loved this place, as do many railroad enthusiasts. We won't see much of Needles, but I hope you enjoy it. I get to introduce you to our special guest star in just a minute, but right now I noticed that Route 66 is actually shorter than the Appalachian Trail. Although the sign declares that Route 66 ends in Los Angeles, it's actually at the Santa Monica Pier. I have many pictures, but I can't seem to find them. Oh well, maybe next time. The phrase, maybe next time, or I'll put this on my list for next time, became something that Emma and I said over and over again. But it became sort of strange how these Tesla charging stations were all over the place in these towns where there weren't many people. But nonetheless, I'm glad that they're around, I suppose, so that people can charge their cars. That's important. But get a load of this gorilla on the top of the Wagon Wheel restaurant. Now, this makes no sense. Why is there a gorilla on top of the restaurant? But this is Route 66, so you see a lot of strange things like this. Emma and I just laughed and laughed. Look at all the trucks going by. It's like that all the way there. Everything is labeled Route 66 in case you happen to forget where you were. Am I on Route 66? No, this is Route 68. No, it's still Route 66. Okay, I got that. That's where we are. All right. Got that straight. And we veered off Route 66 to head into Laughlin, Nevada, a longtime favorite of my family. But our very favorite place is now gone. And the very ghostly looking half circular thing, is what used to be the Colorado Bell. The building is still there, but the casino and hotel is closed permanently. Emma and I kept saying, I'm devastated by my windshield at this point, but we were mostly devastated that our beloved Colorado Bell was no longer. I should write a collection of stories about this place. It was really just so much fun for the whole family. Emma and I got settled into the Aquarius, and I went to walk around at night to check out what I could see of the casino. As you can see, it's very dark outside. I wanted to get outside and walk because I like to get outside and walk. There you can see a little bit of the other casinos along the river, but again, not much, and I apologize for the lack of quality, but hopefully you will sense my pleasure, delight, wonder. The last time Emma and I visited was in 2020, in February 2020. And if you do the math, you know what came after that. This also meant that it was the last time that I saw my father before he died, because by the time we were clear to visit them, he was gone. I actually don't know how much I've said to you about this road trip being a lot about wholeness and healing, but it was. I could have gone any way that I wanted to back across the country, but it was important for me to go to some of the places that meant a lot to me, to see the people who meant a lot to me, and to do that important work that I had not had a chance to do yet. So there I was in Laughlin, very important place to me, both fun memories, bittersweet memories, and it felt really good to be there, even though we were devastated that the Colorado Bell isn't there anymore. I know that might seem goofy, but Emma and I are both goofy and deep people, as you'll see tomorrow when she finally shows her face on camera. She's a delight, and I think you'll be delighted to see her. So thank you for joining me. This was only a half day of travel, and although we didn't go deeply into any place, I do feel deeply about sharing these experiences with you. So thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video, which will be me waking up with Good Morning Love in Laughlin. See you then.